Chili here with Sirius Tellus Moon, and as we take for a video, I want to continue to emphasize, and I feel this coming very strongly. I don't know if it is Saturn sextile in Pluto, if it is Uranus at the end of Taurus about to ingress to Gemini meets Sedna, Lilith in Sagittarius. There is something that's really strongly coming about the fact that people that are used to, and it's not about shame and blame. Usually they were born into certain situations and they were used to dominate by any means. These are the people who are going to have the biggest downfall with Uranus Sedna. And there's something that decompartmentalized their coping mechanisms because they seem to run into either Uranus generation or people that have a certain Uranus transit where the more they try to dominate by any means, the more, how should I say that? And here's the thing, they try to dominate over people that to begin with, were just living their lives. It can be to do with trafficking scams. It can be to do with organized crime. It can be to do with many things. But they were trying to, it's kind of like it affected people that are a live and let live type of people, but have this nasty Uranus. The Uranus Sagittarius are going through the Uranus opposition. The Uranus Scorpios, the last of them are finishing up the Uranus oppositions. And particularly those who are very invested in Frankenstein-like trying to create the person or to mold a person into, they run into people that are, they would always respond to that in a way that is, let's say somebody's trying to build something very specific, there would be something off because Uranus is kind of like the silly walk. And the thing Uranus responds the worst to is trying to mold it into something. And if they try to siphon the energy, the Uranus person is going to come up with their own egregore, their own god. And and particularly the people that are very used to always control everything, they're going to be completely and totally undermining themselves with this particular type of Uranus people. Now here is the thing, the people that are this way, that they are dominating by any means necessary and so on and so forth, they usually grew like that because of perpetual trauma. But this is where the expiration date for that coping mechanism is up. I don't know, again, I don't know if it's Saturn sextiling Pluto, Uranus about to ingress with Sedna, because this is the people that were used to, they were used to making everything go their way, but at the expense of another person, and that is no longer possible. There's something about the spirit of the times that is just not going to be, the backlash to such moves is going to be so extravagant. And here's the thing, Neptune and Saturn are still in the first decan of Aries. And coming to the first decan of Aries from a trauma perspective is I cannot say it's one of the worst things to do because nobody is guilty that they have a trauma perspective. Okay, that's the whole point about this. But this is going to create a big existential crisis for the people that are used to dominate by any means and to always be dominant, to always have everything going around to their direction. Not going to work with this one. And because something, they're going to undermine themselves in a way where with that type of Uranus people, or with that type of Uranus, is just going to go about really fucked up and really weird in a way that calls them more than if they had never tried to control the situation or that Uranus person to begin with. Okay, think about who are the live and let live people. The zero rape, zero slavery, zero energy siphoning people. Um, and a lot of these people, they kind of like they had the chance because Uranus is going direct where it went retrograde, is still in its kind of so-called shade period. They had their chance to assess that this is this type of a Uranus person. They had this chance to they had their chance to assess that that's a live and let live person, not compatible with scammy things, with enslavement, with any type of things. Now, particularly the people that are excited about somebody rebelling are going to be excited no more. You know what I mean? If somebody is like, if somebody like disobeys them and it's like sparks them even more, they're not going to be smiling with this type of people. Um, and this is particularly because this type of Uranus people, they're not about winning at any cost. And because they are not looking to win at any cost, they have this woo way about these things that are like, well, I am who I am. There's nothing I can do about this. And that can really aggravate those that are focused on, even those that are focused on, even those that are focused on the hunting can be really aggravated because somebody has a woo way about the situation. And here's the thing, because these people never, to begin with, they never started a fight. They could have had a situation where they ran into something and they had a natural response and they were like, okay, wait a second. What's actually going on here? What's underneath? What's underneath? What's underneath? What's underneath? But the major thing is that sovereignty has to be. Okay, basically they were not on a hunt, is what I'm saying. And because they were not on a hunt, and it's like they are the people that can let go of the prey and say, to begin with, I wasn't hungry. Okay, that's the type of thing that I mean. If somebody tries to hunt them, they may find out that the person that tries to hunt them has poisoned themselves. Um, okay. And it's also not about fearlessness. Uranus is simply detached. It's kind of like, I am what I am, what can I do? It's like even if the situation is scary, it's like this is who I am. What can I do? Like, ain't nothing I can do about that. There's almost this helplessness to the situation because like, oh, that person is really scary. Okay, but I am who I am. Like, live and let live. I'm not looking for any problems, but I am who I am. Like, it's um, and the people that try to target this very particular type of people, they have poisoned themselves. These are the type of people that nothing good comes out of trying to make their life bad. You know, it's kind of like if you are, I don't know, a wolf in the field and you run into that type of person, you just like, okay, skip forward. It's the best thing to do. Kind of like, okay, it's kind of like you see that you're in this person in the field, okay, then go another direction. But here's the thing about Uranus, particularly the middle decan of Sag or around Antares. Sometimes people scheme around them. And those people always find themselves in a situation where if they were scheming around that Uranus person, they are likely to regret it. Again, not because it's not because these people are terrifying or no. It's just like they are who they are and there's nothing they can do about it. And they always respond in a weird way to anything that tries to mold that Uranus. And if somebody is acting even invisibly behind their back, they're just going to be, when they're like, think about cats that sometimes they try to shake off something or like dust or something, try to shake off the dust. It's like they try to shake off the dust, and it's like they're not really sure what's happening. They just try to shake off the dust, and they're gonna respond very weirdly because that Uranus has, it's almost like a fifth sense. It's clear cognizance, but they don't know what it's like. They're not even sure that if they have clear cognizance, they're not even sure about it. It's kind of like, hey, that's very weird. It's like when I say I have an energy reading, take it with a grain of salt, and some people might find, oh my God, it's in verbatim. And I was not playing. I'm really detached and not really knowing if that is true or not. It's only by the responses of the people around. I was like, and sometimes I could be saying something completely casually, and it sparked something in somebody, and I'm like, okay, I had no idea. Um, Particularly if it's like a joke that I had no idea. Uranus can tend to be uncanny like that. Um, People that have placements next to the Uranus Sag, or Uranus Gemini, the planet that is next to that Uranus is, I'm not saying suffers because Uranus is about liberation, um, but let's just say every no secrets are going to be. Um, Uranus, it's kind of like if that's a synastry, make sure all the secrets are going to come out to the surface around this planet, this particular planet. Not saying this particular person, this particular. Let's say somebody has a Mars there. I sure hope they're not hiding skeletons in the closet with like sex scandals, because Uranus, by just being Uranus, I think about people that have Uranus Mars synastry with. Oh, but it's my Mars. But the Mars in chart of a woman can also be people that try to like have a sexual advance towards her. Skip next. Let's say, I don't know, it's Venus. Okay? Then let's say the person bringing the Venus next to the Uranus person, the Venuranus. Me giving examples of them like, oh, I got a synastry like that. Um, okay? There would be no secrets about that Venus. Um, let's say it's the moon, then the mother figure of the moon person, or if the moon person is a mom, everything everything's gonna come out. Son, same, father usually, or if the person is a performer, or in a less high frequency, a player. Also with Mars, it can be like that. If a person is a player, it's gonna come out. And here's the thing: the Uranus person is not intending to do that. Um, it's kind of like it can be liberating, but it's also an ouchie. It's not a Chiron, but it is, sudden, shocking, disturbing, and then sometimes profoundly liberating. But with the conjunctions usually in retrospective. Until the next episode. um, Uranus is an outer planet, so these type of synastries, and it can be even with. I think Rasi Atasio gave example of the Uranus of Turkey, and I think the midheaven or ascendant of Erdogan. And so this type of synastries, because Uranus is an outer planet, a slow-moving planet, they have duration. Um, and the point of the Uranus now, if now here's the thing with this particular dynamic that I'm talking about is the people that are dominating under any the goal of this dynamic is to completely liberate them from that mechanism. Now, it's not that Uranus person has a goal to do that. They don't. They just can't be. They're ungovernable by design. And the people that want to prove them that, those are the people that are going to have the biggest downfalls, existential crises. Um, they're going to get smug and then boom. This is the type of dynamic that can create Hitler conquering the world and committing a suicide with Eva Braun. um, for the people that are the part of the The part of the bunch in Sagittarius that have the co-presence of Saturn. First of all, my condolences. um, just understand the fact that the Uranus people without that Saturn, nothing is going to make that Saturn with them. You're not here to discipline them, and they are here to liberate you from the feeling you have to discipline somebody. And this is particularly important also when Uranus is going to conjoin Saturn in Gemini. Because and here's the thing, Uranus is not coming to rebel somebody's fundamental structure. It's basically coming to do something very simple. It's like, hey, let's say somebody created a new field of science. Amazing. The Uranus, and this would usually be the Uranus Saturn. Okay, Uranus Saturn has the capacity to create a completely new field of science. The Uranus without the Saturn can be, oh, that's a lovely new field of science. Give reverence to that person and then do something of their own. That something can spark the fundamentals of that Saturn in place that is completely irrational to the only Uranus person. And the Uranus person is like, what? Okay, yeah, I gave you credit. Yeah, I gave you reverence. I can give you dividends, but you can't be with Epstein ring. Like, tell me how much dividends you want. Remove the Epstein rings, remove the dark occult, remove those things, and then I can give you dividends. But I cannot give you dividends if you traffic people. On the contrary, I want to give you dividends. I want to think how much you want for your dividends so that I can price my services correctly so that I can pay you royalties, for example, for your new field of science or new idea. Okay? This is the type of interaction. And the Uranus without the Saturn is being completely benevolent. They're like eager to give reverence, eager to give credit, eager to share dividends, ungovernable when it comes to enslaving humanity agenda with dark occult, siphoning energy, blah blah blah. And the Uranus Sag is going to be okay. We drop that Peter ring, and then you know what? But then if people try to no, you people cannot go into this field of science. No. That's the thing that the Uranus without the Saturns are gonna be. We can give you reverence. We can if it's a dividends or something that can be paid, but the core of the idea was actually there, and it's a new field of science. So of course we can study that science and practice that science. And of course we renovate and innovate because that's just natural scientific development. Now here is the thing, the Uranus without the Saturn could be completely resigning about, let's say, career, legacy, particularly because a lot of us have Ketu co-present with, not a lot of us, but a year and a half of us at least has Ketu co-present with Uranus. So we're like woo-waying about it because anyway, we're letting go of something, but a lot of us are materializing something to do with astrology and scientific revolution or technological revolution or all of the above because we go to Uranus crossing our Rahus. Um, so, okay, those type of interactions are also kind of challenging, particularly because the Saturn Uranus was in Mula Nakshatra. It was around the galactic center. So probably build a good foundation, but still we need to remove the Peter rings from the old seeing eye. Okay, like a native Uranus, middle deacon Sag, outspoken person with Uranus in the 10th, co-present with Ketu. And with the people that have the Uranus Ketu in Sag, um, these people have already, Ketu is where we've been. So if it's like career, legacy, or anything of that sort, if any of those houses, then there's a lot of, how should I say that? To begin with, it's not something that we insist on materializing, because to begin with, it's not that it's not even an issue or we're not dedicated. It's that there is some sort of, the nature of Ketu is a non-attachment nature. And just because of that, something can materialize at the Rahu pole, where Uranus is crossing our Rahu. And there it can also be survivalistic, which means that, let's think about, weapon development. If a person is in a survivalistic situation, they will access weapon in whichever way is possible for them to defend themselves. If they can't afford weapon, nobody fucking cares. They need to save their lives. If they are lucky to live and survive and pay dividends, fantastic. But if they're not, like no, like it's okay. The rules only apply when people are safe and free. Um, and you say, oh, people can be irrational and rape. Yeah, it has implications. It's, people so also can be very rational and slaughter rapists. Um, so yeah, that's what I can think about regarding this particular um, this particular transit. For the people that are that Uranus person, first of all, my condolences. I'm also one of those. We would much rather just live and let live, even with all the Scorpio placements and stuff like that. We are, in fact, even that Scorpio placements are with this type of Uranus. I can't speak for not all Scorpio placements, but not all Scorpio placements people, but we would much rather live and let live. Um, if we have grudge, we would much rather, I don't know, write all of our grudge, engrave it into something, and then burn it, transmute it into the ground, into love that is actually loving. Like, that's a ceremony we would much rather do than to take it out on any other person, which would also transmute within and further enrich and enhance our overall life satisfaction, success, sense of self, and whatnot. Um, because there are those interactions with people who are, because of their upbringings, oriented differently. And nothing we can do about that. That's aggravating. That's annoying. Um, a lot of us had to remind them time and time again, hey, like, if you would have let us, like, to die without suffering, then we would go for it many times. Like, why did you even insist? And there's a lot of irrational things, and yet those things are to do with people's traumas and coping mechanisms. And it is frustrating, aggravating, feeling helpless, um, and ain't nothing we can do about it. Like, we are who we are. Um, and also, we don't have the ability to, like, there are other, even Scorpio placements sometimes, although they are fixed sign, they have the ability to kind of like, okay, I see their anger, I I woo way around that. We don't have that ability. We need our space. We're able to say, okay, you need your space, I need my space. But the space has to be there. And the space has to space. Like it cannot be all kind of weird things that the people that always seek to dominate from a survivalistic point of view and think that if they don't dominate, they are risking themselves and risking others or whatnot. This is exactly the type of thing that is impossible for the Uranus Sages and probably a lot of the Uranus Geminis to accommodate to. And because of that, a lot of us feel that we were not accommodated. Because we feel all the control dynamics around us, they're very disturbing. It's like a volcanic eruption within that people try to suppress it. It just becomes even more. Um, so, nothing smart to say about that. It's just like, it is what it is. What can I say?